Well, I think if I'm a role model for any young gay people, it's just because of what I survive. You know, I think as a gay person, as a gay celebrity in 2007, I think what I survive is almost more important than what I do. You know, because what I do is a universal thing. I've never really thought of myself as a gay artist. Obviously, being gay directs my creativity, but I've never sort of seen myself as a gay artist. But as a celebrity, I'm very much a gay celebrity because that's what the press doesn't really let me be anything else than that.
Is that a problem?
I think it's problematic that they're still allowed to write about a gay man in the way that they write about me. I don't have the same protections as a minority, as part of a minority group that black people do, for instance, and I don't see any reason for that. I don't see, you know, I think the laws on stereotyping are in place more than anything to protect children and to protect children and their image of themselves. And I don't honestly see why gay children should see their sexuality as laughable, which is exactly what it is right now. What makes money for the media is portraying gay people as laughable, non-sexual creatures that design things very well.
But you mentioned media's role. This autumn, when you were in newspapers, there were you and some kind of other person, and they wrote about
completely fictional, by the way.
Yeah, okay, I don't know that, but
well, as you say, you know that. The only reason I say that the way I do is because no one else seemed to know it, even though I was saying it very loudly that I'd never met this person. No one else seemed to care.
I didn't know that either, but the way the press wrote about it, your sex life, and
absolutely,
you as a
like I was some kind of pervert. Yeah. I mean, I think the way they will not allow me to be what I am, which is a successful, happy 43-year-old gay man that should be a role model to any gay person, to show that you know, your ability is more important than your sexuality. Let's go outside. In the sunshine. I know you want to, but you can't see. Let's go outside. In the moonshine. Take me to the places that I love.
But you must have been devastated when.
Well, no, I've never been devastated. I've been furious a few times.
Yeah, but that could have ruined your career. Instead, you went on touring. That's pretty impressive.
Well, I think that none of these things were ever going to ruin my career, but that's because my career is based on my own ability, and I'm lucky. I do enough people like what I do that I can survive these kind of media attacks. But I don't think that some of quite simply put, I don't think some of these media attacks should be legally available. You know, I think some of the words that they've used about me and my sexuality should not be legally available to them. And I think one day that will be the case. But, you know, for the moment, I've had to try and have a sense of humour about it at the same time as realising how politically important it is that that they can write about people like me in this way.
Have you ever thought about children of your own?
I did many, many years ago, and I've grown up in a very straight environment. I have always been surrounded by straight people, and I've watched them raise their children. I know exactly what's involved, and I think that I'm not prepared to make that sacrifice. I think it would be very hard to resist the idea of children if I didn't have any kind of vocation. But because I have such a strong vocation, and my sense of procreation, as it were, is my music, my songs. What I'll leave behind me is my songs, and I get to concentrate on that. I think I might have made a good dad, but I've never wanted to find out.
Are you afraid of it?
I'm afraid of that level of responsibility. I think for someone like me who's had, you know, really unparalleled levels of freedom in certain aspects of my life, it's very, very difficult to make those sacrifices. And I'm a happy man. I wouldn't want a child in order to fill some void, because that void isn't there. Wake me up before you go. I don't want to miss it when you hit that high. Wake me up before you go, 'cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up.
Are we going to see a Wham reunion?
We've talked about it before, and we've always said no. You know, there was a possibility at Christmas, last Christmas, because I was playing at Christmas, you know, but Andrew wasn't really very interested, and I didn't blame him, you know.
No.
I don't think Andrew has any desire for that kind of attention anymore.
But you're still friends?
And I don't blame him.
No. But you're still friends? And
oh, yeah, absolutely. I saw him yesterday. He came to my house and stayed over last night.
Yeah.
With Karen, his partner. So there you go. There's the answer to that.
Yeah.
No reunion, but he woke up in my house this morning.